Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
Hey, you held him at 20 points, man. You gave us a chance at the end. But I got 3 words for you. You like that?
Yeah. That was Kirk after a spirited self-scouting film session with the team yesterday. Exclusive audio from inside the Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. Someone just sent me a screenshot. I hope this is real, of a Kirk Cousins Halloween costume with just all $50,000 of bling and a white T-shirt. If that's not already at the Halloween costume stores, it needs to be ASAP for this weekend.
That is awesome.
I think it's it's the Halloween warehouse memes that are going around, and people are it's a great idea, actually. There's a good Larry David one I saw floating around yesterday. It's pretty good stuff. Really good stuff.
You just need a white tucked-in T-shirt, some elastic bottom sweatpants, some New Balance tennis shoes or something, I don't know, and $50,000 of bling around your neck. That's
Kohl's cash. You have to have some Kohl's cash on you.
Some Kohl's cash for sure. Oh, I left my Kohl's cash card at home. Do you have my number in the database? Absolutely, Mr. Cousins, for sure. This is Daily Vikings Entertainment here, Purple Daily, where we just want the Vikings to win a damn Super Bowl before we die. Presented by TCL, one of the world's best-selling consumer electronics brands. They have a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. We'll get into Write That Down predictions here in just a moment and the accountability session. But, Judd, our friends at Surly, I feel like every day we see listeners and viewers of the show send in pictures of their cans, which we very much appreciate.
And those aren't ordinary cans. Those are very special cans. And now you're saying, what type of cans? Well, how about this one? Before I Die. 5-1. 5-1 on the right track. Surly Brewing makes many great beers, and this might be the most on-point beer because this is the beer that encapsulates in 3 simple words what PD is all about, which is the Vikings winning a Super Bowl before I die. But we've also got Furious. We've also got Logic Bomb. We've also got an array of great beers brewed by our friends at Surly Brewing. And as the presenting sponsor of this show, we thank them and urge you to check out those beers either at Surly Brewing or at your local liquor store.
Yes, keep showing us your cans as well.
Love it.
All right, Dex, let's fire this up here. The only show in America that actually keeps track of our predictions with statistics. It's Write That Down.
Most make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackie and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackie and Judd.
We did a deep dive on Mackie and Judd today into a Judd proposed Vikings trade scenario. We can talk a little bit more about that later in this show as well. There's some interesting names potentially available via trade at wide receiver. So if you want that full breakdown, Mackie and Judd, our other daily show, we will sprinkle in some of that after the predictions here. But here's how it works. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns on this show. And listeners, if you want to participate, we have a couple listeners coming on here today. Our friend Tyler Fornes from Vikings Wire and the Climb in the Pocket podcast as well. And then actually Dimitri is part of our Purple Daily leadership cabinet. He's down in Albuquerque as the director of tumbleweed operations. So we'll get him on the show as well. And don't mind the NFL Network stolen version of this segment that you can find on the Sunday NFL pregame show. I don't know where they thought they could get away with stealing this without acknowledging us. Okay?
Right.
But they did. So don't be fooled
Our
by the
lawyers are on it.
imitators. The what?
I said our law firm is on it.
Hopefully.
The lawyers.
Okay.
The lawyers are all over it.
Okay. Hopefully they are. I don't know that that's the case, but let's get to Judd here in the accountability session. A couple things came off the board for you. Pretty light accountability session today.
Yeah.
But you said by November 1st, Carson Wentz will be benched. Well, he's hurt and on injured reserve through November 1st. So, blow out your eardrums there.
Yeah.
So technically he's not benched.
No.
You did say, and we had a bunch of people go back and watch or saw it in the moment here, that the telecast did mention the relationship between Kevin O'Connell and Mike McDaniel last week, so you do get a point for that.
Thank you very much.
Nothing off the board for me. Nothing off the board for the listeners.
Wow.
Declan had one thing off the board.
Oh,
Your little
God.
primetime parlay. Cardinals win, Dolphins win, and then Patriots win in the primetime games. But the Patriots got smoked by the Chicago Bears.
Cost of doing business.
Yep. So with that, Declan still leading both categories on both shows. 37.5% completions, 10 touchdowns. I am nipping at his heels, 35.8% with 9 touchdowns. Judd nipping at my heels, 34.3%, 6 touchdowns. And the listener is way behind at 21.6% completions, only 5 touchdowns on the season. So there is your brief accountability session here. Let's get him in. Let's just get right to it. Tyler Fornes, our friend, our football-loving, film-watching friend from Vikings Wire. We got 2/5 of the show just spewing content for Vikings Wire now that Judd's on board.
That's right.
And we got Dimitri from our Purple Daily Leadership Cabinet. We'll start with Dimitri. Welcome to the show. When did you first become a tormented Vikings fan?
Well, unfortunately for me, I'm one of the newer Vikings fans, so it was 2009 for me. The heartbreak. 6th grade me was very upset at the end of that season. So.
Yeah, I think like most people either came on board in 98 or 2009 and just like, oh, this is great. Look at how good this team is.
Yep.
punch you in the face in January.
Yeah, exactly.
Tyler, let's just get to the speculation here with you. So, Judd, can you throw the trade proposal out that you threw out on Mackie and Judd so we can get Tyler's thoughts on this?
Yes, a second and a 5th to the Broncos. Jerry Jeudy in return comes back here. He gives you the secondary vertical threat that I think, aside from Jefferson, you don't have. That was my trade proposal.
I love it. Listen, as much as it's a meme that the Vikings are stockpiling first-round picks from 2020 at wide receiver, I think Judy's a perfect complement to what Jefferson brings, because if you remember that draft class, Jeudy was viewed as far and away the best route runner in that class. And quite frankly, after the massive drop problem he had at his first year with Denver, he's kind of fixed that. He had 12 in his rookie season. He's only had 5 since. And I love how he's able to easily separate with explosiveness and technique in a very similar way, and quite frankly, in a better way than Justin Jefferson. And I think his ability to stretch it vertically and win in multiple ways would be a tremendous asset to this offense. Take a look at all the best teams around football. You need a 1B, and this would be the 1B to Justin Jefferson, because I don't think Thielen's that anymore.
Yeah, I think so. Claypool was another name that we were tossing around on Mackie and Judd. He's one of the biggest receivers in the league. He also ran a 4.4 coming out of college. And I feel like he had that big rookie season where he went for like 900 yards, 11 touchdowns with an old Ben Roethlisberger, and now they're running this limited offense. So I don't know that we've seen the best version of him either. Get him into a more advanced offense with a quarterback that can hit a deep pass. So I was saying to Judd, I'm in on Jeudy. I might be even more in on Claypool. How do you compare those two guys?
Claypool's interesting because before he ran that 4.38 coming out of Notre Dame, there was real talks about him moving to tight end, because he doesn't look like a 4.38 player on film. He's more of a straight line kind of guy. He does not move great laterally. And the idea is, well, if he's just a little too slow for a wide receiver, he'd be a great tight end. Plus, he has the frame for it. He's like 6'5", 238, and he can block. So the idea of running this 11 personnel offense is your wide receivers block well. And you can put him as kind of like that flexed out option, and he can get a seal block and then help spring Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison. I like the idea.
You said seal block. I have to hit you with the football sounder.
I don't know if I'm more in on Claypool than Jeudy, because I still think Jeudy overall is a much better player. But I also like the idea of building your wide receiver room like a basketball team. And Claypool brings you something that you just don't have in that room: size.
I love it. Inject all of this into my veins.
Tuesday, baby. Pull the trigger.
Let's get it. Can we, Judd, are you willing, if we start with you, are you willing to go on the record with, you went on the record with an OBJ thing last week. Would you want to go on the record if we start with you with a Vikings trade thing here?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So let's do this. We're going to start with Judd, and then we'll make our way around the room. Judd, Tyler, Dimitri, Declan, Phil, 3 trips around the room.
Okay.
Let's write that down. Let's get it.
Write this down.
Write this down. And I'm not going to give you a name because I'm uncertain of what direction this will go. But write this down. By the trade deadline, the Vikings will make a deal for a starting NFL wide receiver.
So a starting like
a starter. So a guy who will be the second guy. Thielen's down to third. Osborne at 4, and this person will be the other starter.
How do you think that would land with Thielen? By the way,
Not well.
Not that you care.
Not well. Not well at all.
Now, here's my question. How are you quantifying this? When does he have to start? Because we know he's not starting week 1, maybe not even week 2 or 3. When does he have to be the starter?
How about within a month?
That's fair.
Okay, he
Good
will
point,
start.
Tyler. Thank you. Yes.
The problem is like if they trade for Judy and then like he's the third wide receiver. I hate for you to take a bad beat on this, but that's the game that we play here.
But they play 11 personnel a lot, so
that is true.
That guy would fit in fairly quickly. So yeah, let's say within a month. That's fair.
Okay.
I think that's
Love
good.
this, man. Write that down with reckless speculation seasoning on top of it here.
It's not seasoning. It's just a whole layer. It's like a pizza with reckless speculation and anchovies.
All right, no anchovies. That is disgusting.
What's wrong? Why don't you guys want anchovies?
Stop making the pizza thing weird with anchovies. No,
What?
just
guys, I like anchovies. I like that.
Tyler, what's your first prediction?
All right, we're going to do a mini parlay to start off. First part, the Vikings will win the NFC North. The second part, the Vikings will clinch the NFC North with another team losing. So they will not clinch the NFC North by them winning. It will be because another team lost. And I want to clarify this. It will count if the Vikings beat the Packers.
Okay.
Or the Bears. Another team has to lose for the Vikings to clinch.
Okay, we can. Okay. This is because it's like 90% odds that they win the division. I don't think this is a touchdown, but it is a very good.
Write this down.
It's a chunk play, I think. Here,
I figured it was a borderline touchdown, and that's fine.
If you added a third component to it, we could get it to a touchdown. It's up to you.
I think if you specify that it happens in the Packer game, like because then you're even though the Vikings are trending to win the North, you're specifying the exact game it's happening.
You could leave it as is if you want to. If you want it to be a touchdown.
I'm leaving it as is because I don't even know if the division's in contention by the Packer game the way the Packers are playing. They're going to be 3-5 after this weekend.
They are, and the Bears have a few tough games ahead of them too. But look out for the Bears maybe finishing second in the division. Maybe I'll make that prediction. Dimitri, your first prediction.
All right, so Tyler took kind of a similar prediction to what I had, so I'm going to kind of rearrange here. So going with the theme of the win anyway that we've had throughout the season, my prediction, write this down, is that the Vikings will win 5 or more games by 7 points or fewer for the rest of the season.
Embrace the grime.
Yep.
It's the opposite of what Zimmer was doing last year. He was uncomfortable with the grime, which is weird because he's a defensive grime guy.
Yep. And he kept games close on purpose, but yet he didn't want games close.
Right? Almost a recipe to get fired. Yeah, you think.
Interesting.
Doesn't make sense. That makes. And this team has found a way. At least a small sample size. It's only been 6 games, but like they've operated very well late. They are the highest scoring team inside 4 minutes of the first and second half, so they can operate in those moments of football crisis. Declan, your first prediction.
Yeah, I'll make one similar to Judd's, but I'll just say the Vikings acquire a player between now and next week's. Write that down. So they will acquire someone that'll be on their 53-man roster who is currently not on their 53-man roster. Practice squad exempt too. So I'm not going to obviously do like someone from their practice squad being promoted. That's lame. But they'll acquire a player between now and next week's. Write that down.
Okay.
Write that down.
All right, write this down. Justin Jefferson, bit of a touchdown drought this season. I think it breaks over the next few weeks. Justin Jefferson will score at least 3 touchdowns in the next 3 games. So if he scores all 3 of them this weekend, I win. If he scores 1 in each game, I win. But he will score at least 3 touchdowns over the next 3 games. Write it down. Actually, I want this to be a home run. What do I need to do to make this a home run?
A touchdown in every single game.
Okay.
All 3 of the games.
Okay, he will score. Let's do it. He will score at least 1 touchdown in each of the next 3 games.
Yeah.
Write her down.
Write that down.
All right, we're back over to Judd here.
All right. One of the things the Vikings have struggled with, obviously, is scoring third quarter points thus far. Well, they had a bye week. They had to self-scout. They looked at things and write this down. The Vikings will score 10 or more points in the third quarter on Sunday against the Cardinals.
Which would be almost double their current season output in the third quarter.
But, I mean, there's no reason. The Cardinals give up a decent amount of points. The Vikings offense third quarter woes are sort of weird and certainly seem fixable. So they will score at least 10 points, if not more, in the third quarter against the Cardinals.
I like it.
Write this down.
All right, Tyler Fornes.
All right, so currently the Vikings defense is 5th in points allowed and 14th in yards allowed. So write this down. By the end of the 2022 season, the Vikings points allowed and yards allowed will be at least 10 spots different.
Ooh, so this is total yards we're talking about and total points?
Yards and total points allowed. They will be at least 10 spots different at the end of the season.
It's kind of funny because it's the ultimate bend but don't break situation happening here, which I'm fine with. I think we're wondering how sustainable this is, where they're like yards per play. It's like the 4th worst defense in the league. They're averaging like 6.1 yards per play allowed, but they've been pretty good on third down. They can take the ball away.
I think
they haven't allowed teams in the red zone very often.
Yeah. I think it's going to help when this offense finally figures it out and really starts to get into flow. 22 3-and-outs is really not going to cut it. Yeah. And they're on pace to have more 3-and-outs this year than they did last year, which is wild to think about. Like when they figure it out on offense, it's going to ease things up on the defense, and I think you're really going to start seeing that bend don't break because they're already doing a great job not allowing points.
Yeah, man, the 3-and-outs, man. That's one thing that, not to put everything on the offense, but your defense having to deal with the most 3-and-outs in the league last year on offense, going back out there, give me the extra 3 minutes to catch my breath, for God's sakes. Convert a first down. All right, back to Dimitri, your second prediction.
So apparently we're all on the same brainwave today because Judd actually took my prediction word for word about the Cardinals game. So good thing I came with a couple extra ones.
Nice.
But write this down. A non-QB player will throw a touchdown by the end of the season, including the playoffs. So whether that's like a Ryan Wright or maybe a fake field goal or, a Justin Jefferson little toss, it's a non-quarterback's going to throw a touchdown.
Talk dirty, Dimitri, yes.
Jefferson will. That's my guess.
Well, that back pass that Jefferson had on the it was like a Dalvin Cook screen on the other side of the field. That was a beautiful pass.
Across the field, too, which is not a easy throw.
There was another team that had that play set up last weekend. I was watching Red Zone. A team had that play set up, and the receiver shorted the pass. It was like daylight for 50 yards, and the receiver shorted the pass.
Yep.
Incomplete. It's hard. I mean,
Jefferson is a cannon. I can tell you that right now. The man has a cannon.
Who are, like, off the record, what are the odds on the players? Jefferson, they've got it all set up for Jefferson to do it again.
Right.
I love the Ryan Wright option.
Yep.
Fake field goal or something.
Exactly. I think it would be Justin Jefferson first. Probably Ryan Wright second because they've shown that they can do the fake punts and stuff like that. I don't see Greg Joseph tossing one, so he's probably a little bit lower. But I'd say probably JJ, Ryan Wright, and then maybe Dalvin Cook or Adam Thielen gets in there.
Maybe Greg Joseph should just focus on kicking field goals.
Yeah.
Focus on your 50-yarder.
Thielen claims that he has a really good arm. I struggle to believe it beats Jefferson's arm, though. Jefferson's arm is incredible. I've seen that guy in training camp throw just missiles.
Just throwing darts all over.
Write this down.
All right, Dex, what's your second prediction?
All right, my second prediction against the Cardinals. Kirk Cousins throws a season high in touchdowns against the Cardinals. So he'll basically 3 or more touchdowns for Kirk Cousins throwing against the Cardinals.
Kirk Cousins!
Kirk Cousins! Yes, 3 or more touchdowns. He's only had 2 as his season high for throwing this year. He'll get at least 3 against the Cardinals.
Okay.
Write it down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, remind me, so what's the Kyler Murray Call of Duty thing? So he's obsessed with Call of Duty, and there's statistics that show that he's worse on certain weekends.
Yes,
it's
on
double XP weekends.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what is the Call of Duty thing this week? Is there like a new game out or something?
Yes. And I believe every time they do a new game, it's a double XP weekend.
Okay, so there's a new game and it's a double XP weekend. I don't really know what that means, but I know that Kyler Murray probably feeling himself after a blowout win last week that, all right, I'm good. Oh, man, we just dropped 40 on someone. I'm just going to play some video games for a few extra hours. So write this down. Kyler Murray will turn the ball over. This is a Kyler Murray parlay. He'll turn the ball over at least once. He'll have a passer rating under 90, and he will be sacked. He's only been sacked He barely gets
Hard to
sacked.
sack.
Yeah.
He'll get sacked at least twice.
Oh, wow.
So he's going to turn the ball over at least once, a passer rating of under 90, and he'll be sacked at least twice.
Yeah.
That's the price he's going to pay for not diving into the homework this week against Zadarius Smith and company.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, let's go. We're going to change the order here because we'll come back around to Judd. So, Tyler, what is your third and final prediction?
My third and final prediction, we're going to skip all the way to the NFL draft. Write this down. The Vikings' first NFL draft pick in 2023 will be a wide receiver.
Love it. Do you think it will be a wide receiver even if they trade for one in the next week?
Probably not, but it's the risk I'm going to have to take.
Okay.
I don't know what they're going to do, but I do think if Kwesi trades for one, he's going to try and trade for somebody on a rookie deal, which is why I think Jerry Jeudy makes sense. I also think his teammate KJ Hamler makes sense because you're trying to acquire high upside, low cost to you, and Jeudy would only cost a couple $1 million, KJ Hamler even less. But if they don't, I think it'll be a wide receiver, and off the record, I think it'll be Josh Downs from North Carolina.
You know what you tell George Payton over there, who's running the Broncos? You say, listen, let's be realistic here, bud. Okay, so you worked here for 10 years, 15? How long did George Payton work here?
15.
Judd? 15 years.
Yeah.
You love it in Minnesota. You're probably gonna get fired. You hired the wrong coach. You signed Russell Wilson to a $250 million contract. It's blowing up in your face. So here's what we can do. Why don't you give us a really good wide receiver for a 4th-round draft pick or a 3rd draft pick, and then we'll give you a nice cushy job in the front office again. You'd be the 3rd guy in line. It'll be great, and you'll have a better team to help operate here. Come on, George. Help out an old friend, and then we'll scratch your back on the other side.
I love the collusion. Let's do it.
Tyler, since you've got this life-changing platform here, this pinnacle moment, is there anyone you'd like to thank and anything you'd like to promote?
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at @TheRealForno. Obviously, you mentioned earlier, I am the managing editor for the Vikings Wire, and Judd is an excellent columnist that we were able to acquire here a couple months ago.
For a third-round draft pick.
Third round draft pick. Hey, it's conditional, so he's still got to meet those conditions for you to get it. We do some tremendous stuff over there. We look at things from an objective and a lot of unique angles because the way Judd is a trained journalist, I'm not, and we look at things from both a journalistic perspective, a fan perspective, analytics. We cover all the bases, and it makes for some interesting stuff.
Awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go check out, if you're not following The Real Forno, you can check out his written work, Vikings Wire, and we'll definitely be talking. I think we're going to talk draft with you even before the season's over because we like looking ahead and mocking things. So thank you, Tyler, dude. Thanks for coming on.
See you, Tyler.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Friend of the show, Tyler Fornes. All right, back to our leadership cabinet here. Dimitri, your third and final prediction.
All right, so if there was a phrase to describe this season, well, every season with the Vikings, I'd say cautiously optimistic. But we're going to go with a little positivity here with the last prediction. So write this down. The Vikings will finish in the top 2, get 1 or 2 seed in the NFC playoffs.
Yeah. The Vikings feel like the Eagles feel legit, and the Vikings feel more sustainable than the Giants to me.
Yeah.
They feel more sustainable for sure. I'm looking to think of the other teams that are above 500. More sustainable than the Seahawks. The Cowboys are so hard to pin. Because it feels like they could make a run. Like they always have decent regular season records, but then they just flop in the playoffs. So it's hard to pinpoint.
And the South is just awful. So
yeah, they're all below 500. So Dimitri, great stuff here. Is there anyone in your life you would like to thank that brought you to this pinnacle moment?
I'd like to thank my girlfriend. Obviously, she puts up with all the TV yelling and the talk throughout the week of all the Viking stuff, and she's actually coming with me to the game on Sunday. So definitely excited for that. Excited to check out the Surly Brew Hall too. Haven't gotten a chance to try a Surly yet because they don't come this far south. So excited to check it all out. And thanks to you guys. This is actually the week of the 1-year anniversary of me listening to Purple Daily. Just a random podcast I found on a vacation on a road trip once. So I'm glad it was you guys. It was actually a Booney episode, and I was like, yeah, this is the one for sure. So thanks to all you guys as well.
Awesome, man. Dimitri, thanks for coming on. Great predictions, and we'll definitely get you on again sometime.
Awesome.
Enjoy the game, man. See ya. Love it. All right, Judd.
Third and final prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Spielman will be hired as an NFL GM before next season.
Oh.
Christian Darrisaw, there's some things to look at. The Vikings' success is actually going to help him.
It is, yeah. I think the Kellen Mond flop is going to be a question. There's still a lot of quarterback evaluation questions to ask him.
There are.
But roster building, he's got Justin Jefferson, Darrisaw, O'Neal.
And he can pin a lot of it on Mike. Hey, I got the talent. Yeah. He couldn't win. So I think he gets another shot.
I wonder, what do you think his answer is when he's asked, all right, you've done a good job building rosters for 15 years, but your quarterback whiffs are legendary.
Yeah.
Christian Ponder, not as much Teddy, but, Kellen Mond. If you're him, don't you just kind of say, well, it's been my weak spot? Ideally, maybe he takes a job with a team with an already established quarterback, too, that you don't have to worry about finding the next one.
Or he's going to bring in an offensive-minded coach who he trusts to find the quarterback.
Yeah, who's his Kevin O'Connell, basically.
Exactly. So he'll package it up. I mean, Rick is pretty smooth, I think, in that type of environment. So I could see him having answers for all those questions to a potential boss.
Yeah, I still think because he walked in on that Monday and thought we're all going to fire Mike Zimmer today, and then his bosses turned on him too. Yeah. And so I'm sure he had done some diligence and had a list of like the 5 coaches that he would have hired. And I wonder if it would have been a Kevin O'Connell type or if it would have been like a Doug Peterson. I wonder who the coach of the Vikings would be right now if Rick Spielman was still the GM.
I bet it would have been like a Peterson.
Or a Nate Hackett.
That's a good question. I wonder if if in the end that there actually was a sticking point there too.
Could have been, yeah, because they were definitely probably down the road, right? Like they had probably decided a few weeks in advance. Zimmer's gone for sure. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so interesting. Okay, Declan, you're third and final.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, we teased this a little bit at the beginning of the show. And this line has moved, by the way, Judd, since I looked at it last night and even this morning, even up a little more.
Okay, that's great.
The Bills are 11.5-point favorites against the Packers, which seems awfully high. And even though the Packers look awful and the Bills might be Super Bowl contenders, there's no way the Bills cover this spread. I think Aaron Rodgers comes in a little pissed, and even if it's within 10, this still would hit. So the Bills will not cover the 11.5-point spread against the Packers.
Okay.
Write it down.
It's a primetime game, right? This is the type of game that Rodgers will just show up and be awesome for. I can see that.
This is a game of the 3:25 kickoff. Excuse me, 3:25 kickoff.
Okay.
It's Fox's.
But no, it's not.
No,
it's NBC.
Primetime.
Did it get moved? Oh,
no.
Gotcha.
Action
Network.
I don't want to hear me ever ripped again for the spread.
Action Network has Bengals Browns at 7:20 p.m. I'm just looking at this right here. I don't know. So if it got
NBC, ESPN's got. They were advertising it on Sunday Night Football last week. I don't know what Action Network's drinking.
Action Network's doing, but yeah.
Action Network is trying to will the Browns into primetime. Or is that a Thursday night game? That feels like a Thursday night game.
It says 10:30, which is
riveting.
This Sunday.
I don't know, man.
This is great stuff right now. We are really tearing it up, guys.
Says the guy that took a half hour to Google the Gophers.
I got a lot of guff for that. Now I'm listening to this. Now I'm listening to this with my voice. Carl, switch.
Oh man. All right, write this down. I was actually gonna make a Packers prediction, but I'm gonna go with it. I think we're gonna go with a Danielle Hunter breakout here over the next 4 games. All right.
Okay, all right.
So Danielle Hunter, the Vikings get the elusive Kyler Murray, and then they get probably Taylor Heineke, and then Josh Allen, followed by Dak Prescott. So in the next 4 games, Danielle Hunter will rack up at least 5 sacks in the next 4 games. Write it down. I just think he's playing a little better than maybe the stats show, and he's going to find himself.
5 sacks in 4 games.
5 sacks in 4 games. So write it down. Mm-hmm. So he'll have a multi-sack game in there somewhere, and he'll get a little closer to 10 sacks for the season.
Gotcha.
Write her down.
Gotcha.
So there you go. The only show in America that puts statistics next to our predictions.
Write this down.
So the Bengals-Browns, Monday night game.
Okay.
The Bills-Packers, Sunday night game.
What the heck, Action Network? Actually, I think our guy, our old Seth Auger actually works for Action Network now and does social for them. So I should send him a note. Come on, Seth.
Oh no.
We gotta get our lines right here.
Former coworker under the bus.
Okay, Carl Anthony Towns. Just throwing coworkers under the bus.
Maybe Seth could eat less stuff.
I know you guys think Seth's funny and
greasy
stuff,
food
but,
too.
Or if you're worried that your coworkers are eating the wrong foods, instead of throwing them under the bus publicly, you could just recommend a great program for them to join instead.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be, you know what? And if you were to ask Judd, he would say, well, yeah, you got to call my friends at Livea Weight Control Centers, livea.com. And here's what I want to do. I want to throw down the gauntlet and issue a challenge, guys. I want to issue you a challenge right now. Football season is a long one, but what if I told you starting today, by the time the playoffs arrive, you're down 20 pounds? That's right. Get off the couch, feel good, play with the kids, play with the dog. Don't be tired because you're not carrying that extra weight. That is the key to life. And right now, if you join, you'll receive 8 weeks for free. That's right. 20 pounds in 8 weeks. That can be done. Enjoy the foods you love with their new Flex program. Fruit, pasta, and even bread. Livea.com, or you can call 855-GO-LIVEA. Livea.com. Gentlemen, start shedding those pounds today. Livea.com.
Livea is one of our awesome partners on this show. We have some openings in early 2023 for your business. So if you're a business owner and you're a fan of Purple Daily or Mackie and Judd or anything that we're building here at Score North, either on the podcast or social media, wherever, and you'd like to get the word out about your business, we have some openings in early 2023. If you're interested in a discussion, email me, pmackey, M-A-C-K-E-Y, at scorenorth.com. pmackey at scorenorth.com. That's S-K-O-R north.com. And we'll see if we can partner and spread the word about your presumably awesome business. Underdog is another one here before we get into Judd guesses the PFF grades. A lot of Underdog slips coming in. A lot of people having a good time sweating games on the weekends.
Yeah, you can join Underdog Fantasy using promo code SCORE, S-K-O-R, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. I want to highlight my guy Craig here. So we talk pick'em options sometimes, just little player props, but sometimes you get these rival options. So you'll see here our guy Craig picked over on Dalvin Cook rushing yards. He had over receiving yards on Jefferson, over passing yards on Kirk versus Skylar Thompson. So you can do a little mix and match too with the rivals options in the pick'em slips on Underdog Fantasy, the best and easiest way to play fantasy sports. If you'd like to join, it's in the YouTube description below. Join Underdog Fantasy and use promo code SCORE, S-K-O-R, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100.
Awesome. All right, it's time now for a game of Judd with his sidekick Declan guesses the PFF grades. All right? So we've done most of the Vikings-related things because it's bye week here. So we're gonna put you on the spot here. I want you to guess the 5 highest graded quarterbacks in the NFL so far this year among guys who've played at least 5 of the games, let's say. So I'm going to Andy Dalton shows up in this list. Okay. I don't know how, but he does. We're going to take him out because he's only played 4 games. Okay. So among guys who played at least 5 games, who are the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL?
And are we going on the record here? So, or is this a conversation among friends, Judd? How do we?
This is a conversation among friends. This is a conversation among friends.
Yeah, you guys can collaborate together and try and see how high of a score you get.
Yes. I'm going to pull up some stats, but I will not pull up PFF stats. Okay, so just
I'll give you. Well, it seems like borderline cheating here.
I think that's cheating. I think that's
cheating.
Stats. No, I think that's cheating.
It sounds like he probably already pulled the stats up here.
So
you're gonna try. You're gonna look at who's got the most touchdown passes, and then
I'm looking at yards right now. I'm looking at yards right now.
You ripped me on Sunday because you just sit on your butt and watch Red Zone. I didn't watch Red Zone, but I'm gonna be able to pull this out of my head. I think if someone who watches much Red Zone should be able to pull out the best quarterbacks.
I'm a perfectionist.
Close that window.
I'm an absolute perfectionist. I'm an absolute perfectionist. Okay, so PFF grades.
Just like 5. I'm gonna look at all the other peripheral stats and tell you what this other stat is right.
Yep. You know what? I was trying to get an advantage. Okay, I will fully admit to that. So Dex, we got to go. Mahomes, obviously. Josh Allen, obviously. Like there's like 3 or so.
Yeah.
Where do we think?
I'll give you guys
rank?
3 incorrect guesses.
Okay. Well, right now we're talking among friends, so I'd prefer that you don't try and influence us right now.
So yeah, I think Allen and Mahomes are safe bets.
Sorry, my internet's 2 of the 5.
I can see that.
It's just awful. Fields, you think? Or I'm sorry, Hurts.
Hurts, you mean?
Not Fields, yes. Hurts.
He could be on the list. Burrow.
Potentially.
Okay.
Didn't get off to a great start.
He probably doesn't qualify. I wonder if Tua was high on here because he had a great start to the year. That offense was really good.
He does qualify. I will say he does qualify.
Okay, and PFF off. So here's, I don't think it'd be top 5, but keep in mind PFF often loves Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's off to such a weird start. There's no chance he's in the top 5.
I would agree, probably. I'm just saying, keep that in mind as we talk among friends.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So for sure Mahomes, for sure Allen.
Are these official guesses?
Yes.
Let's take those two off the list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so 3 more. Okay. Herbert.
Those are your number 1 and
Judd.
2, by the way. Those are 1 and 2.
Okay. Herbert could be one of them, Judd.
He could be. Do you think that Jalen Hurts is one of them?
Yes, I do think he's one of them.
Should we guess him?
Let's get an official guess. Jalen Hurts? Okay.
He is 4th.
Okay.
All right, so Herbert's a good.
2 left, 3 incorrect guesses left. You're sitting pretty good here.
So to me, Burrow had a shaky start, but
yeah.
I guess my question is, did he make that up? Herbert might be a good guess. Are we missing anyone obvious that is sitting on a good season?
Is Danny Dimes playing well enough? But I don't
think so.
Like statistically, I don't know.
This does include running too. This is an overall grade.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe.
It's like Danny. So like, I'm not just talking among friends. Danny and Lamar are probably in conversation then.
Yeah, it's true with Lamar. That's a good point.
With Lamar.
Should we guess Lamar? Because you're right about his running. Or do you want to guess Herbert first?
Let's go with Herbert.
All right.
Justin Herbert?
With that.
That's an official guess.
Yep.
Justin Herbert's actually 15th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
15th.
All right. So I think we would guess Lamar before Danny Dimes for sure.
Yeah.
This is life or death, by the way. If you don't get these correct, then you will
forced to put away my study tools. So open books, the big thing now. They say tests aren't nice for kids, but that's fine. I guess I'm being held to an old standard, the type that terrorized me as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar's a better guess than Danny Dimes.
Yeah. So I think.
And you
let's
said
go with Lamar. I said
Burrow's
another one. Yep. So let's go with Lamar.
All right.
Okay, Lamar
Jackson.
Lamar Jackson is 7th.
Oh, okay. So
he's just outside the 5. He's 7th.
All right, hold on.
You got 1 more incorrect guess, and you need 2 more quarterbacks.
And Wessel.
And this is PFF grade, overall PFF grade.
I don't think Joe Flacco. Those guys are on there.
No.
I'll give you a hint if you want it. I'll give you one hint.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
The 2 quarterbacks that are on this list still, you have not yet mentioned.
What?
You have not yet mentioned their names. So it's not Danny Dimes. Right. Joe Burrow is 6th. You have not mentioned these names.
All right. Okay. Dallas has played well, but it's been more Cooper Rush than Dak. And I don't know that Cooper Rush is on this list. I mean,
man.
He's borderline probably because he did play well.
Is Rodgers?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Rodgers?
I'm just thinking guys we haven't named. Who in the Stafford isn't on here? He's off to a bad start.
Jimmy G. No.
Jimmy G. Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I don't think Kyler Murray would. I mean,
we need 2 more.
Yeah, 2 more.
Boy, the momentum and the wind in your sails has really been taken out here.
The first ones were obvious.
You guys were rolling. You had 3. You had 3 off the bat.
Well, because Jalen Hurts.
And now you can't even. You guys are just. You can't even.
Well, it's a cesspool after everyone's in the same bin.
It's not. It's really not. It's not as much of a cesspool as people think.
All right, I'm going through the divisions now. I'm going through who's playing well in each division. The South. NFC South.
This is nearing last week's random Viking, where it took 10 minutes to get Sam Bradford.
No, that was way worse. That was one of those.
People in the comments were just like, "What is happening?"
People were filleting us. And
I kind of blame also the question air guy who was kind of leading us off the scent.
That's the point of the game is to lead.
He's
number 8. Clue number 2, he was the number 1 overall pick in 2010. Clue number 3, he wears floppy sleeves.
I should have gotten the.
That was not the second clue. He was the first overall pick. Otherwise, we would have gotten that.
No, he's saying that he doesn't do that.
I'm just saying. Then it sets up for disaster, is all I'm saying.
Please focus. Can we please focus on the question at hand?
You guys, this is the second time you guys have lashed out about something that maybe you should look in the mirror about.
I'm not lashing out about this one.
Okay, I will say that the two guys left on this list both play in the NFC.
So is Cooper Rush one? Cooper Rush might be one then.
All right, let's go with Cooper Rush. Fine.
Cooper Rush.
No.
Okay.
No, the game is mercifully over. Geno Smith.
Oh, God.
Who's having an incredible season. Yeah. And perhaps shockingly, Tom Brady is the fifth highest graded quarterback per PFF.
I wouldn't have gotten that a million.
He's only thrown one interception. You know, his completion percentage is pretty high. So it's been more problems around him than himself.
Yeah, that's also his personal life is
it's everything around him is crumbling.
Yes, exactly.
This morning, I gotta be honest, I love that Maya Mackey loves Nutrisource, but okay, maybe not 5:30. I know why you're getting up at 5:30 to wake us up, because you love Nutrisource chicken and rice. Just give Daddy and Mommy an extra 20 minutes, okay? Just get us to 6 o'clock, and we'll get you the Nutrisource all day long. And the treats too. Listen, we'll get you treats and stuff. We just need to make a pact, Maya, with your Nutrisource. 6 o'clock is the opening bell for that.
Stella today, 4:20 a.m.
Oh my
What?
God!
I know. 4:20 a.m. That little girl.
She had the munchies.
She wanted to eat. She was hungry. I said, "You are not getting breakfast." But of course, she went outside and got the delicious Nutrisource training reward treats. Very happy. And so, yeah, you know what, Phil? It's a lost cause. Once they get their little pallets, a little Nutrisource on their little doggy pallets, guess what?
It's game over.
It's game over. They love it. Your dog will too. Just accept it. You know what, though? Happy dogs are great.
They are, and digestively sound dogs
That's
are great
true.
as well.
That's a very good point, actually.
NutrisourcePetFoods.com. It's a Minnesota-based company. You can find them online and all around the country at NutrisourcePetFoods.com. Also, thanks to Federated Insurance for helping us just push our business forward the last few years as we look to build these podcasts and social media and this Minnesota sports community at Score North and Purple Daily. Federated has been a guiding hand with risk management tools and resources for countless businesses the last 100+ years. They're based in Owatonna. You can find out more about how they help businesses maximize their success at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. So that's it for this episode of Write That Down Purple Daily. Deeper discussion on Mackey and Judd today about Vikings wide receiver trade candidates. So check that out, and then we'll do a deep dive into the state of the offense heading into the next week's game here against Arizona on tomorrow's episode of Purple Daily. We just want the Vikings to win a damn Super Bowl, for God's sakes. Come on.